Hey guys, welcome back to our Liberty House. My name's Beth and I'm here to do the February garden tour. This year has so far gotten completely away from me. I completely missed the January tour for you guys and I'm so sorry to have done that for you, but I'm here today to show you what we have growing in our backyard garden for winter. We are located here in Sacramento, California, which is zone 9B. So we can do year-round gardening, and really in the fall winter garden, which is what you're gonna kind of see right now. It's a lot of the brassicas, the cooler season crops that can't handle our summer heat. So most of what we have planted, what we have growing right now, we planted out back in like September. So you can check out the whole fall winter garden playlist we have on the channel to see kind of the progression of things for how we winter garden here in our zone. But without further ado, let me just get going and show you what we have growing this month. All right, so let me start right over here. Y'all know I like to start kind of on this bed and walk down this way, and then I'll show you the other side of the yard too. So we have less than a quarter acre here, and we're literally just growing in our backyard. It's kind of our side yard actually, and then a bit on the back of our house too. This garden bed right here is, as you can see, full of this is all garlic right back here. You guys, if you guys remember when I planted this months ago, I was really nervous about this garlic right over here because it took so long to sprout and germinate and really come up. But right now it's looking really, really good. It's really popped up and is looking just as good as the other bed of garlic, which I'll show you here in a little bit. So that's kind of this half. This half over here is all onions. So we started these back two rows. We started from seed and then I transplanted out back in the fall. These ones up here, we actually had some extra bulbs from last year that I planted kind of as an experiment. You can see it's actually like, I've got like 3 in 1 right here. It's probably not the best. And I've heard that, you know, garlic started from bulbs will actually tend to go to flower faster, so I'm kind of expecting that to happen. With this row, they're a lot bigger than these ones that I started from seed, but it'll just be kind of fun to see what happens here. Right up here I have just some saffron growing that I planted last fall, and then just some flowers here. And then right back here we have our peas. Kind of right back here. Our peas this year have seemingly been kind of slow to grow. We have a few that have, you know, made it up the trellis and is looking pretty good. But for the most part, you can see a lot of these aren't really doing a whole lot. So I'm not sure what the deal is with that. And it looks like I might have some volunteer borage here that I do not care to have. So I'm just gonna pull that out. Once you plant borage, it kind of just pops up everywhere. But it's great for the bees in the spots that you want it. Back here I do have some stock and some other kind of, it's just like a pollinator island I call it. It's starting to kind of go to flower, but maybe with a little bit of these warmer days we're starting to get, we will get a few more flowers coming. And this looks like a lettuce, like a volunteer lettuce maybe going to flower, because you can see it looks very similar to this guy right here and this other guy right here. That was definitely lettuce. And right here I did have some peppers. I kind of tried to overwinter them and I finally they got super frost burnt, freezer burnt from some of our cooler nights, so I just decided to say goodbye and I tore them out, and I'm just letting this part of the soil rest until spring. And then right over here is all of our broccoli. So you can see it's looking extremely good. We've already harvested one. We have more on the menu tonight. And then kind of just some smaller ones, a little bit slower, but this one is definitely a great size to be picking. And when we cut, we always kind of just cut the one head off, and then we'll leave the plant in place because you may end up getting some side shoots. I don't see any yet with this guy, but hopefully we'll get some, because the side shoots will end up kind of being almost like this size, and you can just saute them up and they're really, really good. I have another little planter box of saffron. It's a perennial spice. I have strawberries here. And then I was really hoping to have this entire arch covered in peas this winter, but for some reason the peas are not growing. So you can see just the little baby guys. I don't know if I need to do like a soil test probably before springtime just to make sure nothing's out of whack, but we have been fertilizing every month, so I'm not sure what the deal is with our peas this year, but I don't know, might not get too many peas. And then back over here, I actually just planted this guy. I bought some primrose. This one hasn't been planted yet. Primrose, and then I had started some lavender that was in these pots actually that I transplanted over, and then this is a drumstick flower I transplanted into here as well. And then this is a porta lantana, another victim to some of those frosty nights, but I think it'll make a comeback. There's still some decent foliage down there, so I'll kind of trim off some of that the affected parts, and hopefully it will come back for us. And then you guys always love to ask about our gutters that we have in our arch. These were super fun and cool while they lasted, but to be completely honest, I think, I don't know, we may just get rid of them this year. They need to like start completely over with soil, because like moss has just completely taken over with them, and this one's not even like held on anymore. It's just like hanging on. I had planted some trailing rosemary and some strawberries, which you can actually see the strawberries on this side are still producing, but I don't know, it's just so shallow of a spot for roots, and things don't really grow that great. And then in the summer it dries out so fast because it's so hot here and so dry. That's just kind of a challenging to grow anything in them, so I don't think I would recommend them to you guys, but you know, you can always give it a whirl and see what happens. I have a few more just flowers up here. So here's a mum I like to just keep year round, and then here's another one of those drumstick flowers, and oh, what is this? I can't remember what flower this is. It might be flax, perhaps, and it looks like I might have like some grass weeds in here. Yep, that's a big old grass weed. Yeah, look at that big old grass that just likes to grow everywhere, and it almost looks like I'm trying, it's like I need to service this too, because this looks like mint, or maybe some lemon balm that got over here. Definitely did not plant any of that in here either. So all right, so then in this bed here we have cauliflower is really the main event. We had bok choy that you can see I've just kind of let go to bolt, because I think we were a little too late to the game on these, and by the time we harvested them it was kind of bitter and not that great of taste. So I don't know if it was the variety or we just let them cook too long, but I thought, what the heck, I'll just let them go to flower for the bees, because I don't have any plans to plant anything else out until it gets warmer. Right over here we have 4 cauliflowers, and they are looking so good this year. Let me take one of these clothespins off so you can really get a good look at the size of this cauliflower head. How cool is that? So you might be wondering what I'm using these clothespins for. So what I actually like to do, and some people use rubber bands, but clothespins have always worked really easily for me. But to keep the head of that cauliflower nice and bright, and I think it may or may not help prevent you know, too much sun exposure, basically, is what you want to avoid, because that can cause the heads of the cauliflower to yellow. So I like to just kind of hide them with their own leaves, and they're almost getting too big right now that it's even worth it. So we have lots of cauliflower on the menu this week. This one here is actually just starting to separate a little bit. It'll still be good to eat, but this will probably be the one that we harvest first. And I'll come back around, and I have 2 hands to kind of cover those babies up right there. And then we do have some radishes right in here too. I've been kind of picking away at. Just have a few more right here that are just tasty. This is like a French radish, so it's kind of a longer variety right there. So yeah. All right, let's move on. So I'll show you guys another bed of ours. So this has all garlic in it. So this 8-foot bed is completely filled with garlic. This is all the Lore's Italian variety, I believe, except for maybe just a couple right there in the back are the other variety. But this is a softneck variety. We planted all softnecks this year. And this bed is just looking really, really good with all of the garlic. So this will be ready not until probably June to harvest. So we aren't planning to plant anything in here until June. So we kind of do a cycle of, you know, garlic and onions, and then we'll probably plant pumpkins again here once we harvest, because then the pumpkins will hopefully be ready just in time for Halloween and Thanksgiving. All right, so back over here we have, it's kind of looking a little bleak to be honest, but that is just kind of winter gardening, I feel like. We had potatoes here that died of frost burnt or freezer burnt. So they kind of died back. We bought some new seed potatoes, we just haven't planted them out yet. This kale needs to go, but I wanted to wait and show you guys just how bad the aphids are for us. If you can just take a peek, I haven't been eating any of this kale because it's just been so infested since we really planted it. And I don't know, this kale self-seeded from last year in this box. So it's nothing that we planted, but the aphids have just completely taken it over. You can see like the dust of the aphids down here. And I haven't been spraying it or any, I've just kind of let it be a trap plant to hopefully stay away from all of our other varieties of vegetables. But they are starting to jump over to our Romanesco here, and you can see just some of that damage it's causing. The aphids aren't really harmful until they like completely take over a plant like this, just because they will kind of suck the life out of the plant. So you do want to like hose it off with water or spray it with neem oil, but you do just want to be careful because any sort of neem oil even too will harm beneficial insects along with the bad insects. But kind of crazy what's going on there. So yeah, we did plant 4 Romanesco. Not a whole lot happening here. They're much smaller than the cauliflower, but maybe once I get rid of these aphids, and maybe that will kind of help these guys out too. I'm not sure. We do have more kale in this bed. This is kind of the ones we've been eating off of just because the other ones have been so taken over. I don't think I've showed you this because I did plant this last month, but I did just plant a few more peas just to see what happened, and then I did try some spinach here too. It's just been very slow to grow, and I need some new tags because these suck. I write on them with Sharpie and then I can't, they just like rub off in the weather. So if you have a nice seed tag rec, let me know. But yeah, I would love to tell you when I planted these, but I can't. So, but I think it's been probably 4 to 6 weeks. And you can see there's not much to show, but I think it's just the weather, you know, lack of sunlight too is probably just causing things to grow really, really slow. So we do have our blueberries, of course the strawberries too, but blueberries here, and you can see Our blueberries are starting to bud out, which is really exciting. These are usually like one of the first signs of spring every year. So it'll be fun once we get a few blueberries. Not much going on right over here. We had Napa cabbage. These two we did not get to. They kind of just started, you know, showing signs of maybe slugs are eating these. I'm not sure. But my thought was once they kind of withered away a bit, I was just going to let them go to seed and flower and kind of see what happens. You can actually see this is like split here in the middle, which is kind of interesting. This is all garlic too. This is actually some, I want to say volunteers, but it's probably just some garlics that we didn't harvest because we had garlic in this bed last season. So just some kind of sprouts there. We had a cauliflower back here that we've already harvested. I planted some clary sage right here. And then this is all celery, which the celery really took off this year. I'm really pumped with how well the celery did. It is time for us to really come in and harvest this, and we're just going to freeze a whole bunch because we'll use it to make stock throughout the year. And then you can see I did plant like a whole row of peas again here, and same story, like a couple of them, you know, did well, and then the rest just nothing is happening. So I don't know what's going on with that. We do have some carrots down here, a little spotty on the germination. I probably didn't take as well of care in making sure that these guys germinated properly, but I think we'll get a few carrots later this spring. And then just some more looks like stock and bachelor button. For some reason these tags stayed written. So yeah, maybe we'll get some flowers there. And then I did come back and plant some fava beans here, just like a kind of a nice ground cover to help with the soil. I probably did that back either in December or early January. And this, I know I planted milkweed here. I'm not sure if that's what this is, or borage was in this bed too, so I could definitely see some borage probably popping up too. If that's not milkweed, it's probably borage, but yeah. And then just a few more strawberries there that are overwintering. And let me walk you over right over here. Our yard is kind of a mess right now. We cut down all of our roses, so you can see the to-do list of ours is to get this stuff shredded. It just kind of keeps raining here and there, so it hasn't dried out. But that's definitely your reminder. If you haven't cut back your roses yet this winter, check to see when the best time is for you. If you're in zone 9B, January is honestly the best time to cut these back. I have a great video on how to do it, but if you haven't done it, it's better late than never. It'll just help maintain your roses for the next year. And then we do have a couple artichokes. Something has been eating these. It's probably the slugs. I should come back out here and just maybe throw out like a slug trap or something, because you can tell something is eating them. But we have that artichoke plant, and then this one right over here. This one's actually looking a lot better. So hopefully we'll get some good artichokes this year. What are you doing? Here is our other rose, and of course all of the clippings from that rose. And let me, so this side of the yard is honestly such a disaster. Sorry, as I'm trying to step around dog poop. But the passion fruit vine, I think we are ready to say goodbye to it. It's just really hard to manage. So I think what we'll do this spring, once the passion fruits that are on it finish ripening, we will cut this back and either try to transplant the root or just say goodbye to it. We'll just see what happens, but we underestimated the size of this crazy thing. So this bed is a little crazy too. We had planted some cheddar cauliflowers and they were really slow to grow, like to start growing. I think just because this bed was a little shaded out by the passion fruit, so I don't think I got nearly as much sun as some of our other beds. But then really as soon as their little heads formed, they started to separate. So I'm just gonna let them go to flower and feed the bees come spring. And then we do have some calendula that's coming out to flower right now. It's looking really cute. And then right here are Brussels sprouts that are honestly just so small too. It's kind of a failed attempt. But yeah, I don't know what the deal is with this bed. You can actually see a slug right there. Ugh, I hate slugs. So yeah, we're dealing with that too right now. And then of course the peppers are just looking really sad. They did not weather very well with the cold nighttime temps. So that is what's happening here. Okay, and last but not least, let me walk you over to our couple trees. We have an avocado tree right here. So this is looking pretty good. It's starting to show signs of some buds. So I don't know what that means. Maybe this will be our year to get an avocado. Looks like we need to come out here and maybe kind of stake this up a little bit better, just to give it some support. But all in all, it's looking pretty good. We planted this tree about 3 years ago, 2.5, 3 years ago. And then let me show you our lime tree. We have been picking limes off this thing like it's going out of style. We also planted this like 2.5, 3 years ago, and it's just looking really good. So it's been hard to keep up with all the limes, so we're honestly just picking them up as they fall right now and eating them as we can. But yeah, there's still, you know, a handful of limes on here, and they have been so good. This is a Bear's lime, so they are a little bit sweeter than kind of your typical grocery store lime. And then these limes too, I don't know if it's any homegrown lime or this lime in particular, will turn yellow when it ripens. So it kind of looks like a lemon, but it is in fact a very sweet lime, and they are so good in like lime pie. Has just been really delicious for me. But I also like to just have like citrus in my water, so that's how we've been using a lot of that. So that is it for the February garden tour. I know it's like, it doesn't really feel like I'm showing you anything glamorous, but that's what we have growing right now. This is really a lot of success with our broccoli and our cauliflower. Celery was really good for us, and of course our garlic is looking really good. But really we're just kind of ready for spring to arrive with warmer days. We're really excited about all the seeds we've started for summer, so make sure you're following along, and we will show you all the seed updates too and share with you really soon what our plan is for our spring and summer garden. If you have any questions or want to start a conversation, love to hear from you down in the comment section below. And as always, see you next time.